Create with Fran Sidney. Create the life you want. Hello everyone, welcome to the show. Welcome to Create with Franz. It's a program that is designed for you to look inside yourself and see how you can create the life that you really want to live, and not maybe the life that other people have designed for you. In your own mind you think, oh, I have no choice. But actually you do have a lot of choices, and that's what the program is about. And today I would like to remind you, this is episode 46, and the main topic is going to be how we create our beliefs and how we act to really prove to ourselves that our beliefs are correct. And this happens all the time. So the beliefs are really the building blocks of all our thinking patterns. So if you think, on all the things that happen to you, your experiences, the articles you read, the TV programs that you watch, and the people you meet, the experiences that you hear from them, about them or other people, all together form a belief. This belief, for example, could be that something is very dangerous and scary, or something is very valuable and you really want it because you hear everyone is talking about this wonderful thing. And so slowly you start desiring having something because everything around you is telling you how valuable something is. And so you slowly create this belief, and it's just only an idea you have inside yourself. But it's not exactly the truth. It's what you are thinking, because it's only what you are thinking, because that's the reality that you have inside your head. It's not absolutely sure that this is the absolute truth. So if you grow up in a culture where there are certain very specific beliefs, you are much more likely to believe that these things are absolutely true, even if there is no proof about it. So this can be extended to many topics, but not to divert too much. Just remember, these beliefs are held in the deepest part of our unconscious mind. So everything that we see, that we feel, that we experience create a belief. And this can be quite a limiting belief. For example, we might inherit the attitude of our parents if they have money blocks, if they have a negative view about relationships, about intimacy, about success at work, or about politics. You might hear so much about a particular topic and have to create a very specific belief. And you might even model your behavior based on this. For example, if your parents have a belief that it is very difficult to make a living and that money is only allowed to certain types of other people in another class, race, age, area of a city, or even country, you might actually grow up with the same belief and therefore assume that all the people in your situation are never going to be able to succeed. But this is something that your parents told you. Is it actually correct? Or is it correct after you change yourself inside yourself? This is important because we based all our actions on what we believe to be true. If we do not believe it's true and is right, we are not going to do it. So if we keep doing the same things that we've always done, which are based on our beliefs, we are going to get always the same results. So at the moment that you look back and you think, well, maybe I'm not getting the results, not because the outside world is so negative, but because something I'm doing isn't right, then we can change those beliefs and then change the result. And how exciting this is that we can change something in our life. Instead of maybe just looking and always thinking we are the victim of a situation. This reminds me of a guy that went for so many job interviews and could not get an offer. After 10, 20 job interviews, he was always turned down. The interesting thing is that he said, well, they had already something else in mind. They had someone else in mind who was already working for the company, so they really didn't want to hire me anyway. Or the person interviewing me, the HR manager, he was not in a good mood that day. So whatever I would have said, he just was not ready to listen. He was just coming up with all sorts of possible reasons why he was not hired. And in the end, he had 20 interviews. He was turned down every time. And he was not taking responsibility for his own curriculum, his own behavior, or his own answers to the questions. And therefore, he didn't feel the responsibility to change his approach. Once he went to have a coaching session, he realized that he had to change his way of approaching the people during the interview. And then when he did that, everything changed. His inner part changed, his pattern of thinking changed, and therefore he was able to secure a job. How amazing is that? So sometimes we do this. It is very human. It doesn't make us terrible people, but we have built our beliefs that things are going to go wrong because of something external. But sometimes, not all the time, sometimes the answer is just lying right there deep beneath us, inside our way of thinking, our subconscious mind, our wonderful, brilliant mind that will always try to prove that we are right. So I would like you to think about one problem that you have and that you find it a little bit difficult to solve. Maybe you want to lose weight, maybe you want to be more toned up, maybe you want to stop smoking and start being more healthy in your life. Maybe you want to achieve something in your business. Just write down what your problem is and write down this: I can't get fit, or I can't lose weight, I can't get a promotion. Whatever it is, and this is really connected to what we've done in the past episode, number 45, because you have to really look at your beliefs like a fly on the wall from outside and start really looking at them through a different filter. So write down this belief that you have: I can't achieve X. Why is it? Write it down, and this is what happens. When you start, you might just think, for example, well, I don't want to be fat. That's a very simple belief that is worldwide, very spread. So I'm just going to use a very... So you will say, okay, I don't want to be fat. It's making me tired. It's making me worried, and I want to look better than that. So what you do, you prepare and you say, right, I made this decision. I want to start exercising and I want to start eating really in the proper way so that my weight will decrease and I will feel amazing about myself and I will be healthier. So the first thing you do, you join maybe the local football club, or maybe you go to the gym, or you start to walking with a friend, or even running. And then you start going to your local grocery store and you fill your trolley, your cart, with loads of healthy foods that you know from all the articles you read, from your nutritionists you talk to. These are very good for you. So you go ahead and do that. And for 2 weeks, you're full of energy, full of enthusiasm. You have a new diet, you have a new exercise regime, you're running every day, you're doing wonderful things. So this is looking amazing. And then after 2 weeks, you start making excuses. So when you go shopping, you throw in maybe a couple of slices of cake, or maybe you throw in a few processed meals instead of throwing all these raw vegetables and fruits that are pretty much the basis of good nutrition, because of course you do know that this stuff isn't very useful. You need pretty much what the earth is giving you. If you want to lose weight, you want to eat something that is not highly processed. That's the number one thing. But yet you realize, well, it's just a one-off. I'm just going to put a couple of slices of cake, or maybe something already prepared with loads of salsa on top of it and lots of calories. It's just a one-off. And then you start skipping. You say to your friends, oh, I'm not going running today because I have something else going on. And then, oh, tomorrow I cannot join your baseball practice or the gym because, I decided to stay indoors because it's such bad weather and I'm a bit tired. And slowly, as the weeks go by, your initial enthusiasm for dieting or becoming stronger and fitter or whatever your goal was, everything just loses this big power, and you realize you're not quite exercising as much as in the first 2 weeks. And then you realize that your diet is pretty much going very similarly to what you've always eaten before, which is what has made you to be overweight that is not very healthy for you. So at this point you feel the demotivation creeping in. You realize, well, my fitness isn't really improving. I've been working on this for 2 weeks and nothing really happened. I'm exactly the same person. As you feel demotivated, then you realize that you've been also doing things to self-sabotage yourself. So you get really annoyed with yourself for letting yourself go. You feel, look at this, well, actually I do know what I've done. I have not done what I was supposed to do. So you get really irritated, annoyed, fed up with yourself. And because you're feeling down and depressed about what you have missed to achieve, you might start eating more food or eating, for example, more chocolate. I shouldn't say chocolate because it's my favorite food when it's black. But you know what I mean, more of a food that has made you so unhealthy to begin with. And of course, as you become more and more depressed about your lack of success, you will keep those bad habits to fuel your depression and to make you feel bad in a vicious cycle. Oh, I'm feeling bad, therefore I eat more, therefore I do not feel good enough to go outside and to exercise. Then the weight that you might have shed in those first initial 3 to 4 weeks is not shedding anymore, it's just there. You might even realize that the weight is actually creeping back. Even if you just lost 500 grams, there they are. You can see on the scale, you're back to there. Or your muscles, they were growing so well, your flexibility that was improving, nothing. It's all gone. And so you think, well, there we go. I proved this to myself. I cannot lose weight. I cannot lose weight and I cannot become fit. It's just impossible. I'm not strong enough. I don't have a discipline. I have too much going on in my life. So all you've done is you tried for a short while, and then your subconscious mind is there pushing and pushing to prove to yourself what you really deeply believe, that you can't get fit. And that sounds horrible, but this is what happens to a lot of people. I just use the word fitness and losing weight because it's just the easiest, but this can be applied to anything. Getting along with somebody else, creating or reviving a relationship, etc. And I'll give you another example if I remember. So let's move to another way of looking at things. You change your belief, and you absolutely 100% believe that you can get fit, you can lose weight, you can become strong, you can set up the business. Whatever the belief that you have chosen to talk about, that's the one. So we go back to this initial belief, and you say, okay, I want to become really fit. So I have a vision. You might even do a vision board or talk to people or write some notes in your planner and say, right, how great will I feel? I'm going to be amazing because I'm going to lose 10 kilos, or I'm going to be able to lift a weight of 3-4 kilos. I'm going to be able to run for 10 minutes. Whichever. If you have a SMART goal, then it's a lot more achievable because you can see what it is, it's possible to achieve, and it has a lot more meaning for you. If you can't remember what a SMART goal is, look at my episode probably in January time or end of December, telling you all about how to achieve goals and not giving up in the first week of February. So here you are, you have this vision of this amazing SMART goal, and so you prepare a strategy and you say, how am I going to do this? So you prepare a list of exercises you're going to do, what you're going to do, how long for, when you will do it, or you start going to the gym, to your baseball practice, whatever, dance class. I'm not telling you what to do, I'm just giving you an example, so don't get hung up on all the details. So as you do this, you start telling people, I'm doing this, and I'm exercising every Thursday at 4:30, every Friday at 10. I'm just telling you just odd days and times here. And then you start feeling very excited because you're telling everyone, you're doing, and you have motivation, you have a strategy, it's written there, and it's in your calendar. So you start taking action. And as the weeks pass by, you realize actually you're feeling better, you're feeling that your mood is improving, and you feel that your body shape is changing, because although it's hardly detectable, when you start exercising, within a couple of weeks you do feel quite a difference. First you have a sore muscles, but then you realize that your flexibility is better, your endurance, your stamina are catching up, because your body is doing something, and you say, hey, this person is moving more, I have to reward him, I have to build more bone density, more muscles, etc. And this works also in relationships. So at this point you are so excited, you keep going, and you think, actually my weight is going down, I feel better about myself, and I'm so excited because I know that in the near future I'll be able to show off how much healthier I am feeling about myself and how better I perform when I do a sport. Then you might even take more action. You might go to a shop and buy some new clothes that flatter yourself in your new body shape, or even one of a dress size that is smaller ready, because you know we are in April, by July I'm going to be able to wear something on this size. So you're really looking forward to this result. So you continue to get working, you are motivated, you have this lovely piece of outfit, a new tie, whatever that you're gonna just use to reward yourself in a nice way. And then eventually you reach this target weight. It might take months or years, but you are getting there. And do you know what? You have just proved you believe to yourself, because you took consistent action. You believed this was true. How is that possible? It is possible because if you don't believe that something can happen, you will not take the action, because it's not sustained by your belief. So it cannot really happen. Some of the beliefs we have are really deeply culturally ingrained, and there is very little that we can do about them, but some of them are really, really powerful. And I heard once there is a special tribe in Mexico, I think they're called Tarahumara or something similar, and they are very much detached from modern society, from a Western society. There are many, 40,000 of them, and they call themselves Raramuri, and that means foot runners. And what they do, they are very, very good at running. And remember that there is quite an elevation there, and they have very nice sandals made of leather, and they just run. But there is something very peculiar about the beliefs of these people. Contrary to what we do in the Western society, when we think that between 16 and 25 you are at the peak of your performance, this tribe of Raramuri or Raramuri think that when you reach the age of 60, you are actually at your peak. And therefore, the best runners in the tribe are 50 or 60 years old. And isn't that amazing? They keep training and training, and they're so anxious to reach that age. That's the age when we in the United Kingdom or in the States or in Australia, we are thinking of retiring because we're going to be out of shape, we're going to have aches and pains. And yet these people are thinking, hey guys, I can't wait to be 50 and 60 because then I'm going to be at the peak of my performance. How does that change your life? It's incredible. And I think we can all do that. I was reading a story of this guy that was married for many, many years, and he was about to give up. He said, well, my wife has become, less attractive, let's say very nicely, because he didn't write just that. But she's always complaining and she's always depressed, and, I'm not really attracted to her anymore. She's put on so much weight, and there's just no romance between us. We don't do anything together. But I'm really attracted to, he said, another person who is the opposite. Is slim, takes care of herself, is very enthusiastic, a very positive person, and works out as well. And she has time for hobbies, and she's very bright and alive because her hobbies are so good for her. And so this guy was absolutely convinced, he had a mindset that his wife was something that, he just had to set aside because it was not nice and exciting, it was not thrilling to be with her, while this new woman was actually a very interesting thing. And of course, his deep belief was that if he could just leave his wife and go off with the other woman, he would create an amazing, beautiful, happy life. Because, of course, his belief was very ingrained that to be happy, your wife has to be in a certain shape and color and mood, etc. And that was fine for him. He was proving his belief because he was spending so much time with this other person and trying to build a relationship. But it turned out that this other woman didn't want to have a relationship with him. She was just want to be a normal friend. It was a work colleague. Eventually, this man decided to go and have a therapy session. I can't remember exactly what was his motivation for going there, but he wanted to see clearly what he could do because his heart was heartbroken. But he was heartbroken because this new woman had rejected him. And so he had a one-to-one conversation with a coach and decided to have a look at what were his beliefs. And by asking a lot of very good questions, the coach found out that actually the reason why the woman was so depressed, had put on weight, was not looking after herself, had taken up smoking, and wasn't doing anything that the guy appreciated, was because of his behavior. So his behavior, and I won't tell you details, was such that he was neglecting her and she had all the work to do in the house with no help. He was not spending time with her and he was doing his hobby, enjoying his hobbies on his own. He would just go and watch the football on his own, or go skiing, or go maybe swimming on his own, or fishing, and she was always alone. And in the end, she just got fed up, and that's why she was complaining all the time. She was depressed. She started to find comfort in food. So there was a reaction. She was acting as a reaction to his behavior, and he was then reacting to the reaction. None of them were actually proactive. So they were both brought to therapy, to do couples therapy, and they had to change their beliefs, and the beliefs had to change because their happiness could not hinge on the other person's behavior. They had to find their own happiness, their own reason for being in a good mood, for being fit, etc. So they had to stop blaming one another and start working on themselves. There was a complete turn what happened to this man and to his wife. First of all, he stopped thinking about the other woman, stopped talking to her, just in the office, hello, and that was it. He just stopped fantasizing about this woman and thinking that being with such a lovely, enthusiastic young woman, he would be better. He just stopped doing that and started to move his romantic attention back to his wife. They started to go for walks together. They started to play games together, do things outside that they loved, and spending time literally talking to one another and rejoicing in one another. And it took a lot of effort, but he believed after this session that he could actually do. The wife was in tears. She was so happy that finally the husband was actually at home and he was interested in talking to her, asking her how she was doing. Not only that, but because of a couples therapy, this man decided to actually be a helpful person in the house. And as a result, he was going to do the shopping, buying healthier food, helping to cook, helping to share the brand. They have 4 or 5 kids, And as a result, the wife was not as diffident and complaining all the time if he somehow went out for a little walk on his own sometimes. But now they were doing so much more work together, and both took action. Both changed their way of thinking and their beliefs. And eventually these people were a lot happier. They fallen in love again, and guess what? The woman had lost a lot of weight. She was a lot happier. She was no longer depressed, and she'd even stopped smoking. And all this because they both took action to, first of all, change their beliefs. When they decided to believe that it was possible to save a marriage instead of jumping from relationship to relationship looking for an outside solution, they worked on themselves and they got amazing results. And they have recently celebrated something like 20 years of marriage. So that's amazing, and this can happen to everyone. So in closing this episode, here is my suggestion. If you think that you're having a problem because it's always somebody else's fault, sometimes this is not the case. So ask yourself, do I need a session of hypnotherapy or coaching? Do I need to see a counselor? Do I need to just talk to a friend? Do I need just a journal? Or just pondering, meditation time? Am I a student of Joe Dispenza and I like meditating? That's fine. Just find a way to really talk to yourself why you're taking this action. If it's taking you to have always those same results, what can you do to achieve a different result? What would you do if you knew you could not fail? And this is my thought. If you change your habits of thought, you can change your entire life. Everything is possible. So I hope that this episode was useful for you. And if you have liked it, please press like and share it to other people so more people can find a nicer way of living, a happier way, more fulfilled. So thank you very much for being with me, and I will talk to you later. Bye bye. You have listened to Create with Fran Sidney.